Thanks for staying with us. Now, Africa has its own rating agency, the Sovereign African Ratings. It aims to take on three of the largest already established agencies. We do understand that those are Fitch, Moody's and S&P Global. SAR will have the remaining 5% of the market share, but we'll get further clarity on whether that's correct or not. It's now rated South Africa at BB long-term and B+ short-term with a stable outlook. The outlook is regarded as stable for both the short-term and medium-term. For more on this and just to understand what all of this is about, we are joined by Zweli Maziya, who's the CEO of Sovereign African Ratings. Thank you so much for your time, Zweli. We do appreciate it. I think many people are very confused about what all of this means. But let's just start off with the fact that this is Africa's very first and own rating agency. Why was this decided on?
Well, it's actually long overdue. We have to have an additional opinion in the market, and hence the establishment of Sovereign Africa Ratings.
Why would you say it's long overdue, and why would you say that we need to have an opinion on African markets? And the reason why I ask you this is because there's been much criticism that the three main rating agencies have been rather harsh and don't necessarily understand emerging markets.
Well, the big three rating agencies have been around for quite a long time. That is true. However, we have seen a trend in their opinions converging, whereby you see similar type of credit ratings coming from them. And there has been expressions of dissatisfaction from African leaders when it comes to the systems that are used by the big three rating agencies when they are rating African sovereigns. So now, Sovereign Africa Ratings is quite an important institution in order to provide an additional opinion into the market when it comes to credit rating agents, credit ratings. You see, this is beneficial for investors because it will help investors to actually have more information that they can consider for their investment decisions, as well as their investment research, and also bring about stability in the borrowing costs for African issuers. And I must state that Sovereign Africa Ratings is focusing not only on Africa, but on the emerging markets. We just happen to be African, so we're starting off with the African countries.
Okay, that was going to be the next question with regards to your focus. You just mentioned it's going to be emerging markets, and you just so happen to have started on the African continent. But where else will you be exploring?
We will be exploring the Americas. That's your South America, and also Asia, as well as other emerging markets.
Okay, I want to ask how this new rating agency has been perceived, because whenever there's a new player in the game that provides an alternative voice, as you mentioned, an alternative information, additional information, that I wouldn't want to say goes against the three main rating agencies, but gives that alternative voice and that alternative rating perhaps, it's often perceived with a lot of skepticism. Is that what you've seen so far, or has this been welcomed?
Well, for any credit rating agency, actually, we note that a credit rating agency's biggest asset is its reputation. So we are relying on the quality of our outputs in order to influence the perception of the market. Hence, our methodology is focusing on all variables that are traditionally rated by the established rating agencies, as well as looking into the structural nature of the entities that we rate, and also providing more information, especially in terms of resource endowments for emerging markets, which are quite rich in natural resource endowments.
Okay, I want to ask you about, let's move over to the rating for South Africa. You've already started. South Africans would say we never spared of a rating, but you've given us a stable outlook. And I think before you go into the details of why you've given us a stable outlook, has National Treasury acknowledged this rating?
Yes, they are aware of it. We will be continuing to engage with the National Treasury in order to solicit a credit rating. So far, we rated South Africa at BBB, on the long term as well as
What does
B+.
that mean for an ordinary South African watching? What does triple B mean?
So triple B is an investment grade rating, meaning it's not junk, right? We note that South Africa has been resilient throughout, even post-COVID. We actually recovered in terms of trade. The banks are holding adequate capital. We also increased our tax revenue in 2021 as well as in March 2022. All these positives have been noted. However, there are challenges that South Africa is still facing in terms of the rising debt, contingent liabilities, especially when it comes to servicing the debt of state-owned entities and so forth. So we note all the variables that we consider when conducting the credit rating, but we feel that South Africa is definitely still investment grade.
Okay, you've mentioned SOEs, and I know that in the rating you've spoken about South Africa's spending, especially when it comes to coming out of COVID-19 and during COVID-19. But I want us to speak about Eskom as a state-owned entity. Now, surely that is a consideration when rating South Africa, because that has dire consequences and, of course, detrimental to our economy, because our economy cannot function optimally when we don't have stable electricity. Is this a worry for you guys?
Yes, it is a worry for us. We do consider energy as a very important part of the economy, because you actually need stable electricity supply in order to ensure that business continues to work. So yeah, it's one of the considerations. However, for example, I must state that our methodology does have 82 variables that are considered, and energy variables, they are considered as well.
I want to ask you about international lenders and investors looking at this rating at the moment and thinking, well, you aren't the top 3 rating agencies. Why should we consider this rating?
Well, like I said earlier, it is an additional opinion, and it is important that they actually look into the reasons why we rate South Africa where we rate it, or matter of fact, any country that we will be rating. It's quite important that they note all the information that we put into the rating report, and it will definitely help when it comes to their investment decisions.
So do you have let me put it this way also, do you have a relationship with international lenders and international rating agencies, but also a relationship with National Treasury? Because I know you said you are engaging with National Treasury, but somebody looking and saying, it's a new rating agency, are they even considered? Is their rating taken seriously?
We have multiple relationships in terms of market stakeholders, not necessarily individual investment houses or the rating agencies themselves. But yeah, we continue to grow our relationships with market participants, especially when it comes to market participants that are important for the rating process. This includes your research houses as well as the rated entities who are able to provide the vital information we need when conducting the ratings.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best. I think Africa's been waiting for an alternative, so let's see how it goes. Thank you. We do appreciate your time. That's Zweli Maziya, who's the Sovereign African Ratings COO, a new rating agency that's just started up. I'll have more news of the day's top stories in a short while. Do stay with eNCA.